Hey, and welcome to my Ask Me Anything session. This is Jonathan, and I am excited to be with you today as we take comments and hear feedback from you guys and talk about everything from AI to let me get the chat up here. There we go. We're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about topical authority, about digital marketing, whatever's on your mind today. For those of you that are just joining us, I run these for about 30 minutes to up to an hour if we have enough questions. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, and that's okay. But I'd encourage you to go ahead and log in, and why not log in, but catch us live here and let us know in the comments if you've got any questions. You also can message me directly. I'll be watching those and deal with those so we can make sure that we get everybody's questions answered. So I know one of the big questions on mine today while we're getting everybody started here is what do I need to be doing with AI as we head into 2024? I know it's early December, but yet most of us as entrepreneurs and business people are already thinking about next year. And the biggest advice I want to give you here as it comes to AI is really probably twofold. First and foremost, don't wait till 2024 to get started. You can get started today. And I'll talk to you about a couple things you can do today in the questions if they come up. But you can get started today leveraging AI. And I want you to focus on three goals as you do that. Goal number one should be saving time. In other words, what can you be doing to save time by leveraging AI? And there's so many things that you can do. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have about that today. The other thing is that, and again, three things. So, first thing, save time. Second thing is you should be able, as a business owner and an entrepreneur, to be able to help increase your margins. In other words, increase your profitability through utilizing AI. By doing that, you're going to, again, through efficiencies and other things, you should be able to improve your overall margins and profitability. And that's great, but we also know that brings with it sometimes in order to do that, we need to cut back on services or we need to do things. And the benefit of AI is that it really gives you that trifecta of being able to save time, increase profitability, and on top of all that, deliver more value to your clients. And I think that's what's so exciting about it as we look into 2024, the benefits of AI. So one of the questions I got this morning was, Jonathan, is it too late? Did I miss the boat? Is it too late to get involved in AI? And I don't want to laugh because I can appreciate where that question's coming from. OpenAI just celebrated its first year of being having ChatGPT around. There's been so much news. In fact, literally almost on a daily basis, I'm getting news and updates about things that are happening. And a lot of it's just massive, massive shifts. But I want you to think for a moment about the fact that AI in particular has been with us for a long time. We just didn't call it that. We didn't necessarily realize what it was. For example, if you've ever used the GPS on your phone to help navigate somewhere, that's AI. If you've ever used a tool like Grammarly to help you make sure that the email or the documents that you're typing are using the right pronunciation and the right grammar and the right punctuation, that's AI. Those are the exact same type of tools we have now. The only difference is that ChatGPT and Bard and Claude and others, they have made it much more accessible and they've opened up an interface to allow us to ask more questions, which makes it seem like it's brand new. And in many ways it is, but I want everybody to understand it's not too late. Studies show us right now that less than 15% of the businesses around the world are actually even thinking about using AI in their business. That doesn't mean your team may not be using it on things like that, but again, studies are showing it's been a really small pickup as far as businesses go. Most people are using AI to help them out with simple things like crafting a new email and maybe writing some social media posts. Marketers, the field I'm in, we love it because it definitely helps us deliver more value. We can create a lot more content than what we used to be able to do. And when we use what we call AI assisted content, where it's actually human curated, but AI assisted in writing it, we can oftentimes create better content than what we were able to do on our own. And so that becomes critically important in the process. So if you're wondering, is it too late? No, it's not too late at all to get involved with AI. In fact, the timing probably couldn't be better because models are starting to solidify and tools are starting to make more sense. So that's a big deal. The other question I had this morning was, Jonathan, as I look at this, what tools do I need to be using? And I want to caution you before you start spending a lot of time and energy on the what we'll call the latest and greatest AI tools out there. I really want to encourage you to focus on the three big players in the text-based field. And currently, those are ChatGPT, that is Google Bard, and that is Anthropic's Claude or Claude. Those are the three that you need to focus on right now. And if you only have time to focus on one, I highly recommend you start with ChatGPT. My second choice would be Claude, and my third choice is Bard. If you work for Google and you're listening, I apologize, but you need to up your game because Bard, well, it's kind of like a cantankerous toddler at this point in time. It infuriates me, by the way, and I hope you're listening now, Google. It infuriates me that Google Bard will do one task for me once. For example, analyze a video and give me feedback, or go to a website and give me feedback. And then I can ask it to do it on another website, and it will tell me that it's not capable of doing that when it literally just did it for me. I don't know what you need to do, Google, but you need to get that fixed. On that note, if you're doing keyword research or topic research for what topics to address to create content for in a marketing way, that is an area where Google Bard does shine. And I highly recommend it for that. But if you've only got one choice or you only want to focus on one, I'd recommend starting with ChatGPT. Currently, the only version of ChatGPT that's available, if you're not already a subscriber, is their free version. They also have a free version of Claude that you can use, which is excellent. Let me talk to you just a moment about the differences between them. So both are large language models, or what they're called, and both have the ability to take data. And I'm not talking Claude and ChatGPT. They both have the ability to take data, to analyze that data, and to give you information. And you go, oh, big deal. No, it is actually a big deal, because imagine that you've got a PDF report or a spreadsheet or a CSV file that you need to analyze and pull data from. In the old days, we had to open up that big spreadsheet and we had to figure out how to write complex formulas, or maybe do these weird things called pivot tables and all that, just to get the information we were looking for out of those spreadsheets. Now, all we need to do is we need to upload that to ChatGPT, or we can upload it again into Claude. And now we can carry on a conversation essentially with that document or with that spreadsheet. So let's just say we've uploaded our expenses for the last month and we want to identify how much money we spent on fuel. We can just ask that question. Please review the uploaded file and tell me how much money I spent on fuel. And it'll go through and it may have a question to confirm for you, but it'll be able to tell you that information. So data analysis is great. The other thing that's really exciting about the data analysis portion is that I've seen so many great stories about how AI is being used, especially in the scientific and the medical realms, to analyze existing studies, not necessarily to do new studies, but to analyze the existing volumes of work that have already been done, the research that's already been done. And now they're drawing new and updated conclusions from some of that. And the reason is that AI is able to again, look at that data and look at different ways of pulling it together much faster than we can do as human beings. Just recently read an article about the new diabetes treatment that's being tested and developed right now. And it came not from AI doing new research, it came from AI analyzing the existing reams of data that we have on diabetes research and creating some new assumptions and creating some possible connections that we just hadn't thought about. Or I shouldn't say we, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but that the doctors and scientists that doing that research had not thought about. And that's really exciting. So again, back to my point, we want to talk about how to use AI. I want to encourage you to start doing it. And if you're not sure where to start with ChatGPT. It's a great tool. I do encourage you, by the way, if you start using it and find it valuable, which I bet you will, get on their waiting list for the paid program. I get paid nothing to encourage you to do that, but their paid versions add some great features like GPT-4, their current model, the ability to do their vision, which is to upload images and have it analyze images. And you may go, well, what's the benefit of that? Imagine you're watching a webinar and you grab a screenshot of this perfect slide where they shared this information that you don't want to forget. And now you're trying to figure out, how do I get that text off that image? Just upload it to ChatGPT and have it tell you what text is on there. It'll do it. It does an amazing job of that. There's also custom GPTs, which have been recently released, and those are only available through the paid subscription. And a custom GPT, basically, in layman's terms, you're taking data that you have, combining that with ChatGPT's information to create an interface that allows for easy dissemination of that information. Probably the best example I can give of that recently for me is I created a new custom GPT for my church. So, like most churches, they want to be posting on social media, but they're reliant on a volunteer team to do that. And as you can imagine, between different volunteers, there's a big difference in their ability to write content, to comprehend it, even their style. And the church wants to have a consistent style. And so we created a custom GPT for them to use that now their volunteers use when they're creating social media posts. And in addition to ChatGPT's knowledge, we uploaded specific information about the church, from their denomination, from their beliefs, even the version of the Bible that they like, which in their case happens to be the New King James Version. That gives them the ability to leverage those volunteers in a way that they haven't before and minimize the oversight that's needed. So that's a custom GPT, one example, and lots of things that are there. So I see you got a couple questions coming in. Let me take a look over and see where we've got this. So John's asking, he says, I recently added a plugin, Scholar AI, to help find valuable articles and to help with his holistic blogs. Do you know what they used for this diabetes protocol? John, great question. I don't. Again, I'm not necessarily an expert at all when it comes to medical or scientific stuff. I just barely managed to get through that in high school and college. But it was very interesting to me that they were utilizing the existing data to pull that in. I thought that was really, really great. So Mark, you're asking about custom GPTs and a tool for that. So this is an example of why I don't recommend that you spend a lot of time going out and buying all these other tools. There are all kinds of companies that are creating unique things to run on GPT, and that's great. I think it's great. I love free enterprise. But what happened recently is OpenAI literally essentially put all of these custom GPT makers out of business, because you can now do that right from within OpenAI's ChatGPT itself. In fact, let me show you. I'll go ahead and share my screen here a minute, Mark, and you'll be able to see this. So let me pull this up here real quick, pull the right window, and I'm going to share, make sure everything gets shared here, turn that on. There we are. And you should be able to see that sitting there. And I guess I've got my branding on. I can turn that off. I don't need my podcast right now. So let's go ahead and turn that off. We'll get this. There we go. So change that branding. By the way, for those of you who don't know, I go live using a software called Restream. And one of the things I love about it is I can change my branding. So if I wanted to do different things, I can literally do different types of branding. There's a good one. We use the orange with the AI prompts. That actually hurts my eyes. I don't think I want to use that. Let's see if we got another one. Gray. We'll just go back to the blue. It works well. So we got that all set up. There we go. That's much better. So I'm in ChatGPT, and let me show you how this works. If you're in ChatGPT now, again, to create the custom GPTs, you need to be a paid subscriber, and that is currently closed. So if you're not there, get on the waiting list. But I'm going to go over to Explore here. And inside here, we have this opportunity. You can see all of these that I've created, and there's different ones that are in there. But if we want to create a new GPT, I'm just going to click on this and create new. Notice I'm doing this right within ChatGPT. And one of the coolest features here is the fact that you don't need to be a programmer. I'm not a programmer. You don't need to be. We literally can craft a GPT right here. And it starts by saying, hi, I'll help you build a new GPT. You can say something like, make a creative who helps generate visuals for new products, or make a software engineer who helps format my code. We can upload anything in there that we want to do. It'll then preview it for us over here on the right-hand side. And then we can configure this custom GPT by naming it, adding a description, giving it tons of custom instructions. And that's one of the real benefits. You can tell it the types of things that you want it to do, and including things you don't want it to do. But we create these right within the ChatGPT itself. One of the great features we've got is if you go into, we went into Explore here. If we go into Explore, not only we see yours, but you can also see a ton of these that are made by ChatGPT themselves that they'll let you use. So let's just say I wanted to learn more about games. My family loves gaming together, and I can go here to Game Time, and it will quickly explain board and card games to me and how they work. One that I think is great is the negotiator. It literally helps you advocate for yourself to get better outcomes. Maybe you need to advocate for why you need to get a raise at work, or maybe you need to negotiate a new car deal. The negotiator custom GPT will literally walk you through that and do that. And there's so many others. My favorite is one that I actually created, and I'll show it to you real quick. You guys are welcome. I'll put this in the chat if you guys want. You can go ahead and use this as well. This is free, assuming you've got the paid version. But I call this the viral social visionary, and it uses what are called the clear copywriting methods to create what I hope will end up being viral social media posts. So if I wanted to, let's just grab this example here, generate a social media post for a local bakery. Not only is it know the context of how I want to do this, it's using the clear methodology, but it's going to use other background information that I uploaded to do this. And here it's going to ask you some questions. So I said, generate a social media post for a local bakery, and it's smart and it says, okay, I need more information to make the best post possible. Could you provide me with a bit more information? Key details like special offerings, current promotions, events, the primary audience, things like that. That'll be helpful. So let's just, for the sake of discussion, let's go ahead and I'm actually in Fremont, Michigan at the moment. So let's say my bakery is in Fremont. And I don't type and talk well at the same time, so bear with me. The name is, we'll just call it, I can't eat a lot of carbs. How about we just call it No Carb Bakery? Probably not a good name, but we'll do it anyway. And let's say, and we specialize in baked goods without all the carbs and sugar. And before you tell me it doesn't sound any good, we're just playing here. And then we'll say our audiences, families, and let's just say, we'll just say families, and we'll just say families looking to eat more healthy baked goods. And let's see what it does for us. So just like that, again, what's neat about this is instead of just running with it, it asked us a question, and now it's going to do that, and it may pull in all kinds of information. Let's just see what it writes here again. Again, this is all made up right on the fly, guys, so can't promise you how good or bad. But it says, welcome to No Carb Bakery, Fremont's sweet secret. Looking for a healthier twist on your favorite baked treats? We've got you covered. At No Carb Bakery, we believe in indulging without the guilt. Our specialties, from fluffy, sugar-free muffins to scrumptious, carb-conscious breads, our bakery is a haven for those seeking healthy alternatives, perfect for families who love to enjoy delicious baked goods without compromising on health. Why do families love us? We understand the challenge of finding treats that are both tasty and wholesome. That's why our recipes are crafted to delight both kids and adults using only the finest health-conscious ingredients. And I won't read the rest of it. But you can see that's a pretty darn good post, and it got really good information from very limited stuff. So if you're interested in that, like I said, I'm going to try to share that in the side here. Let me go back and see if I can get into the chat, and we'll go ahead and paste that in there. You guys are welcome to click on that if you have GTPT. And yes, Mark, that is on GTP4. Again, it's only available for paid subscribers, so you do need to be paid to have access to that. But the tools are amazing. In fact, if you run a business, one of the things I think would be a great idea, and it's part of the reason I'm doing the Social Media Visionary, I share this with anybody. It's not promoting me per se, but I'm hoping that some people utilize this and then remember at some point that, wow, this was of value, and then that creates credibility for me and helps generate some good quality leads. So that's definitely part of that. So that is GP4. So we got another question here. John's asking, what stream platform is this? It's awesome. Thank you, John. I appreciate you saying that. So I use a platform called Restream.io, and it allows me to go live. So right now we're live on Facebook, we're live on Twitter, we're live on Instagram, we're live on, let's see, where else did I, YouTube. I probably missed some. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Yeah, so those are the main platforms. And we're streaming to all of those platforms simultaneously, which is just a great feature. I love that. I don't know if they still have a Black Friday deal on or not. They did just have a great Black Friday deal. Excuse me. There we go. Try to catch that mute button. They did just have that in, and that can save you even more money. But it's a great platform for going live. I also use the same platform if you do any type of podcasting or anything. I use this to pre-record stuff for podcasting purposes. And one of the things I like about it is layout. So I'm going to bring my screen back up here a minute, and you can see the preview it's given with me on the side. I can also do like side by side like this if you really want to see my face that big, or I can do a couple others like with me shrunk down in the corner. Or what I love for panel interviews is this version right here, where we get down on the bottom of the screen and it shows all the panelists right there on the bottom of the screen. So I like those as well. Depending on your personal preference, we can do any one of those. So let's go ahead and go back there. There we go. Now you're back to me. So those are just a couple things. Those are great questions, guys. I really appreciate it. John, I'd welcome to hear any thoughts you have on Scholar.ai. I'm not familiar with that. It looks like from your comment here, it says it's, let me bring this up here on the screen so everybody can see. You recently added it to help find valuable articles to help with your holistic blogs. I certainly can appreciate that. Another tool that I use there a lot is, again, if you, and this is probably a little more complex, but once you find news sources that you like, one of the things I love to do is set up a feed, and you can use a tool like Feedly or something like that to create an RSS feed of new articles as they come out. I put those into a Google spreadsheet or Google Sheet, and then I use a tool called Zapier to watch for changes on that sheet. And as new articles come in, it does that. I can then have Zapier automatically feed those article links into ChatGPT for me and ask it to summarize that article and give me like, top 3 bullet points. It creates that and then puts that in another cell on the spreadsheet. And now at the end of the day, or whenever I have time to review news, instead of me going through this super long list and trying to read what articles make sense and all that, I can go over and just catch these quick summaries. I can also have it look for specific keywords and highlight those keywords, so it makes my news selection a whole lot faster as we go through that. So those are some other things that you could be doing pertaining to that. Another thing that, John, if you're into holistic medicine, which I think is awesome, is to just use AI to help you create relevant content off of those articles. So one of the things that I think is great, you guys know, or probably know, I help agencies and other businesses and individuals build topical authority online. And one of the ways we do that is through creating content that promotes what they do, that educates and is helpful to others. Imagine, John, taking those articles that you find, feeding them into ChatGPT and asking ChatGPT, like that viral visionary I just shared with you, to create a compelling social media post based on that article. When you start sharing those articles on your social media, whether that be Facebook, a Facebook group, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever, doesn't matter, you're going to gain credibility as long as you stay consistent. So, John, knowing that you're in the holistic and functional medicine area, if you continue to focus on those areas and share content about that, even if it's not content you've written, you can curate great content like that, share that, and get lots of credibility and build your own topical authority by doing that. Let's see. John said that, you bring his comment up here. He says that scholarly.ai, which I have heard of, I've not used, has access to over 200 million research articles and journals. And he loves that when I asked it to retrieve data highlights from cardiovascular health and obesity, gave it 3 to 4 articles highlighting them. That sounds like a great tool for what you're doing and for research. And there are some great tools out there. So when I challenge you to be careful about buying too many tools, I don't ever mean to say that you shouldn't use any of the tools. I use a couple of them in addition to ChatGPT as well, and they work great. But if you start getting into AI, you're going to start getting bombarded with people that are like, pay $9 and download my 100 prompts, or do this, or buy my course. Some of them may be good. I can tell you that almost all of them that I've tried are not. And so I want you to be careful before you spend your money. The special area where I've noticed that it seems to be easy to waste money is in buying what I would call lipstick applications for ChatGPT. In other words, these are applications that just add a different user interface, but are still using that. In fact, one of them that's out there doesn't say they're ChatGPT, but they advertise that way. They have a similar logo in similar colors, and it says if you want to get access to GTP4, by the way, you can get it right away through them. But they actually charge you more money than ChatGPT does, and they limit how much you can use it. And again, I understand that's nothing. If that's your choice, you make a choice to subscribe to that. That's perfectly fine. But I want to be cautious because I just talked to a client the other day who did it, and he's like, was all excited that he had ChatGPT and that he'd spent $29 a month for it until I explained to him that ChatGPT only charges $20 a month. And that's how I learned about this other company that's out there that is, I should say, masquerading as being ChatGPT. They're probably legal because they're not telling anybody they are, but it definitely is some deceptive marketing. So just be careful as you see those out there because that can absolutely make a difference in what you're seeing. So if you got any other questions, let me know. We've got a couple more minutes here. I'm more than happy to answer any other questions you guys may have. Like I said, what I want to do really today is encourage you to get started using AI if you're not using it, and to think of new ways that you can use it. There's so many things. Just today, I had a webinar that I put on this morning, and I used it to help me write that webinar, to create the slide, first the outline, then the slides, and then ultimately the script that I used as a basis for that webinar. After that webinar, I had jumped into some interviews. We're thankful our agency is growing and we're hiring some new people. And I had two interviews, and not being exactly sure what were the perfect questions to ask, I went to ChatGPT, told it about the positions that we're hiring for, the candidates. I fed in their resumes, and I asked ChatGPT to give me some suggested questions for the interview. It did a great job. Did I follow them word for word? No, I didn't. But it gave me some great tips to utilize, and it really helped me prepare for that interview much, much faster. So the one thing I haven't used it for today was actually to prepare for this Ask Me Anything. These are just, you're getting it raw, good, bad, or indifferent. It's me and my opinions. Another thing is I had a video that I've already recorded this morning. It hasn't been published, but I recorded it, and I used ChatGPT to write a video script for that. That was super helpful. Let's see. John's telling us here. I'll bring his comment up. He's only using the free version of that right now, but yes, he can see where over consuming in plugins could be an issue. Yeah, it definitely can. There's so much out there. Now, again, that doesn't mean to say they're bad. In fact, let me go back and share my screen here a minute. Since we're talking plugins, let me share with you the difference in some of these plugins. Because when we talk plugins, there's really two different styles that we're talking about here. So I'm going to go back over to the side one. I think that's a little bit easier to see and share my screen. So I'm right now in Google Chrome, and I'm using it. You can see I've got a Chat GPT open. I've got Bard open. I've got Claude open. So all the various tools that are out there. By the way, let's do a new chat here. This is what Bard's going to look like. And we'll do a new chat in Claude. This is what Claude's going to look like, just so you have an idea of where they are and how to get to those. But let's go back here and let's create a new chat. Let's get out of our social visionary, bring my top back up, go back into Chat GPT. And inside of Chat GPT, when I'm here, once I'm a paid subscriber, I have access to what are called Chat GPT plugins. And if I go to the plugin store, there's a lot of those here. In fact, this reminds me of a great tip I can give you. So oftentimes when you're using ChatGPT, if you know now, it has Bing integrated, and so I can reference an article and it will go out and read that article. Sometimes though, Bing has been blocked and ChatGPT is blocked, and you're like, darn it, I can't get to that article. If you install the Web Pilot plugin, which is this blue circle that you see here, a blue kind of rounded square, it's called Web Pilot. If I click on, let me see here, I've got a lot of plugins installed. We'll see if I can find Web Pilot quickly. There it is. That's what it looks like. It allows you to browse web pages, PDF, and data. Here's a cool hack for you, though. Even when Bing has been blocked, I've been able to turn on the plugin and get access to those sites. I won't try to find one right now. That'd probably take too much time, but it's a great reason to use those plugins. And those plugins, by the way, are free. They don't cost any money as a general rule. The other type of plugin that exists, and let me just go on and go out to YouTube here a minute to show you how this works, are browser plugins. So let me grab an article here a minute. We'll talk about, let me see, let's grab one for, this looks like Alex Hermosi, so that'll be a lot of stuff out there. We're going to let the ad go by here, skip the ad. All right. So we're here listening to Alex Hermosi, and let's say I don't want to watch, let's see, this is a 58-minute video. Maybe I don't have time, or I want to determine, should I be watching this video? I've got a great little plugin here called harpa.ai. It's a Chrome browser plugin. So this is different than a Chat GPT plugin. You don't install Harpa over here. You install Harpa in the Chrome plugin store, and then it automatically runs in the background. But this is what's so cool. I can now click on summarize the YouTube video and say I want to create a long summary. And it's going to go through this video. It does use the transcript, but it's going to go through the video and it's going to give me a number of key bullet points here about that. Notice it's creating multiple parts. It's going to create, it looks like probably 12 or so different things. It's going to do 3 sheets worth. And now I can read this to determine, do I want to watch the video, or maybe do I want to jump to a particular part? Maybe I'm really interested in bookkeeping and I see he starts talking about that at 44 minutes in. I can go directly to that part. Or I want to look about, he's talking about balancing valuable content with your audience and needing to generate income. That's something I think we all do. I can literally jump right to 29 minutes in that article and I can watch, or the video, and I can watch that. So Harpa AI is one of those tools that I think is absolutely amazing. Another ChatGPT tool that I use a lot that I like is a paid version. And it is, I'm trying to remember the name of it here. Let's see here if I can get the name of it. I paid for it, even though I'm not logged in at the moment. So this is a GTP history. If you've ever tried to find stuff in your GTP history over here, you know, it can get really hard to find old stuff really quickly. And so this is a great tool that I use. It's very inexpensive. I want to say it cost me $3 or whatever to unlock it. And this, again, is a Chrome browser plugin that runs, that allows me to search my AI history. And I think that's just a great tool that I love to use. So again, just the difference there between ChatGPT plugins and Chrome browser plugins, both of which work but make a difference. All right, let's see. We got a new question here from Mark. Let's bring this up. How do you determine which platform to use for your prompts? GTP4, Claude, Bing Chat, or other? I think what I recommend here more than anything, Mark, is that you determine what you're most comfortable with. I'm a paid subscriber on all 3 platforms, Claude, Google Bard, and on OpenAI's ChatGPT. Those are the 3 that I use by far and away the most, but I probably wouldn't be a paid subscriber on Google Bard if it wasn't included with what I get by using their corporate Gmail system and G Suite, as it's called. So that's why I get that one. The prompts you will find can be virtually identical, whether you're using ChatGPT or Claude or Bard. It really, Bing Chat, they won't make much difference. I've not had a great experience with Bing Chat personally. May just be me, I don't know. So I rarely, if ever, use Bing Chat. Occasionally on my phone, but I'm really using ChatGPT the most. And I use it because I find it gives me the best results. I really like Claude as well. I think it's a fantastic platform. In fact, if you haven't tried it out, I'd encourage you to do so. But I miss the fact that it doesn't have direct internet access. One of the benefits of Claude, by the way, we talked early on about data analysis. If you're doing data analysis, you've got a very large file that you need to upload. Claude can take about 30% more data than ChatGPT. Now, I'm talking really large as an example, and don't hold me to these numbers, but you can upload about 120 to 130 page document. I think that's single spaced, type document into ChatGPT and have it analyze all that. But I believe that you can go almost to 175 page document with Claude. It has just a larger memory. That's something else, by the way, that I expect to keep seeing changing rapidly as we get into 2024. So hopefully that answers your question, Mark, and how we do that. I think they're all good. It just really depends on the platform that you want to focus on. So great questions today, by the way, guys. I really appreciate the questions. I appreciate the interactivity. Just as a reminder, these live videos, once I do them, I try to do them every week at noon on Wednesdays. I don't hit them all because sometimes the calendar doesn't allow for that. But one of the great things is they're all available afterwards. So within a couple minutes after this live being done, every platform will have it available so you can watch the replay and catch it. So if you ever miss one, don't hesitate to go back and catch some of our previous lives or Ask Me Anything sessions, and we certainly can chat about that. So I'm going to give it another minute or two, guys. I try to do at least a half hour. We're at 36 minutes now. If you've got questions, feel free to drop them. I'm happy to stick around for a bit. But if not, I'm going to move on and get caught up on my tasks for the day. And hopefully that this has been some value. If you have seen some value, if you can throw maybe a one in the comments or whatever, I appreciate that. Always knowing what's happening is great. Love and appreciate that feedback across the way. So I, again, thank everybody. If you got any questions, I'll do kind of a countdown here. I should add a timer. That would be cool. Anyway, don't have that available, but if you have any others, feel free to type away. Otherwise, in about 30 seconds, I'm going to shut this down and we'll see you guys on the other side. So if any questions, feel free to let me know. See, if I was a good announcer, I'd talk through all this, but I don't know what to say. So we're just going to leave it go and let it run and see where we end up. While we're doing that waiting, I want to encourage you, if you haven't, go ahead and grab this URL or grab a screenshot of this a minute. You can then feed this screenshot into ChatGPT and it will grab this URL that's on the screen in the bottom. This is the link if you're a paid ChatGPT subscriber to get to the Viral Social Visionary, the social media tool that I shared with you and went over. Maybe something you guys want to try, or if you're not there, feel free to grab the link to go later. This is available for free as long as you can access it through the GTP platform. All right, guys, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for the good comments, Mark. I appreciate it. And John as well. Really appreciate the feedback. If you guys have any need, don't hesitate to reach out. You guys know I'm available. You can connect with me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on YouTube, wherever you're at. Don't hesitate. And if you want some free resources, something that I probably should have put up and I didn't think about, but you're welcome to go to my website at jonathanmast.com/linktree. That's jonathanmast.com/linktree, and it will go ahead and give you access to a bunch of resources that I have available. Let's see if I have anything. Well, if you want to learn more about AI and you're not in my group, that's a great place to go. Let me turn off this chat here a minute so that we get that off. There we go. You can join my free Facebook group right there at Whitebeard Strategies/AI group. If you're not already in that, feel free to do that, and we'd love to do that. If not, like I said, if you want those resources, just go to jonathanmast.com/ and let me put it in the chat. That way I can put it up there. That would be a good idea. Free resources at jonathanmast.com/linktree. See, sometimes we have to figure this out as we go along. So let's turn this off that we've got on there. Figure out which one I'm running. There we are. Go back into chat and we'll show this one. There we go for everybody to see. So if you want some free resources, I give away a lot of prompting guides, a whole bunch of other things there, links to my groups, links to contact me. If you have any questions, please reach out. I appreciate you guys. And I appreciate everyone, and make it a great day. We will see you soon. Bye-bye, everyone.